Hey, welcome to Black Span. Whoop whoop. So, I'm coming here real quick because I kind of want to talk to you guys about a few things. The first thing I want to talk about, and I know I have been missing in action, but I've been doing some reading and some studying on some things. So, there's that. I've been reading some really interesting books. I've been thinking about doing like a reading, like book club thing and just reading to you guys what I've been reading. So, that's an idea that I'm thinking about. Let me know what you think. Down there in the comments. Okay, so look. So first, I want to talk about the fact that everybody's talking about they need to defund the police. Okay, that's definitely a bad fucking idea, and here's why. One, they're already corrupt as fuck and killing us all without any motherfucking money. So just think what would happen if you take away their paychecks. They did this in a few cities, in a few states, and those people out there running a fucking muck. Crime has risen. So if you defund the police, it's gonna bring on something like the purge. Okay? So they're already not there to protect and serve us. So if you defund them and we start back getting lynched and shit like that, then we can't blame anyone but ourselves. Because at least now, if a dude come over here and beat on me, I can dial 911 and he'll get arrested. If you defund them, I cannot dial 911 and he will not be arrested. I'll just be a beat bitch. Understand that. Now, if they were going to defund the police the correct way, meaning defund the Violent Crime Act that was passed in, let me see what year that was. I believe it was the early 90s. I believe it predates the crime bill. But let me double check here. Now, the Violent Crime Act gave police enforcement more money the more people they arrested for violent crimes. So if you're going to defund them, let's take away the extra money that they get for arresting people. That would be the proper way to defund the police. Violent Crime Act. Okay, it was... Shit. It went away. Violent Crime Act. Let's see. Here we go, 1984. So, and then it was revisited in 93 and 94 when the crime bill came out. So, 94 before the crime bill came out. Now, if you're going to defund something, defund those congressional laws that gave these police entities that are supposed to protect us and serve us against trying to arrest us in droves and put us in this mass incarceration situation. And then maybe that'll be a better approach. And then also, instead of defunding the police, why don't we redistrict the police? What I mean by redistricting the police is let police patrol and work in areas in which they grew up in. You know what I'm saying? Like, say, for example, if you grew up in the Woodlands, then I think that when you become a cop, they should not put you in Fifth Ward. They should put you in the Woodlands. If you grew up in New Orleans, when you become a policeman, then you should be patrolling the New Orleans area, not in the Ninth Wards and stuff like that. If you grew up in, let's say, Savannah, Georgia, or something like that. Well, no, those cities are a couple of hours apart. If you grew up in Atlanta, Georgia, for example, then you should be patrolling in Atlanta, Georgia, not in like Stone Mountain or Tucker, for example. You see what I'm saying? So let's think along those lines. Like if you were raised somewhere around Beverly Hills or Melrose or something like that, then you shouldn't be patrolling in Oakland or Compton. You see where I'm coming from? If you grew up in Hollywood, then you shouldn't be patrolling in predominantly ethnic areas, you know? And I feel like if we redistrict the police, we would get a more positive response into what we're asking for. But simply taking away their money is going to anger them, and it'll be even more of us getting killed and more of us getting murdered. Let's not give them extra money for arresting drug dealers. Why don't we give them extra money for arresting murderers or rapists or stuff like that? You got to understand the way the system works. You know, if they tell you to go left, you definitely need to go right. You know, if they like, for example, they gave us all these isms. You know what I mean? Like racism is a big one. You know, but it's like if and they gave us these isms to make us discriminate against each other as a people, so that patriotic white people and patriotic black people won't come together, and then we would begin to attack imperialism or capitalism, whichever term you would like to use. So it's like we cannot tell them, oh, let's defund the police. It's not an adequate strategy, and it's not gonna work for our benefit. You know what I'm saying? All of us are gonna suffer, and I'm not talking about on the retrospect of black and white. I mean on the retrospect of economic and where we all are as a people at this point. All of us are gonna suffer. The police will not be any good for anyone because they're gonna be pissed off. They don't have no money. Understand that. So all those bonuses they get for that they claim they don't get for tickets and stuff like that, you got to understand. You know what I'm saying? You really have to understand the way this shit works. So we kind of have to, how can I put it? We have to be smart in our political movements. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I'm going to give you an example of being smart in your political movements. Kamala Harris flat out said she's not going to do nothing in specific for black people, even though the atrocities committed against us were very specific. So, but she kind of tried to glaze over that by saying, well, just think, anything we do for black people is going to benefit everyone. So if that's the case, if it's going to benefit everyone, then do something specifically for black people. But see how she fixed it? You see, it's a book called Catch-22. You ought to read it. It's a real insider on the way people move and maneuver and stuff like that. But anyway, it's like she's very evasive. Politicians are very evasive. So when they're telling you to defund the police, then you're not getting it. You see what I'm saying? You're not getting the ramifications of what it's going to cause or what it's going to do. But I am. You know what I'm saying? That's going to give them free range for benign neglect. It's going to give them free range to lynch, murder, and kill. It's going to give them a lot of free range, and they're going to lose a lot of accountability to the people. Okay? So we can't be saying defund the police without properly thinking about it. Let's redistrict the police. Let's retrain the police. Let's stop letting PTSD shell-shocked veterans in the police department. Let's stop letting people who were bullied and made fun of in school be police, because they're going to take that anger and frustration out on someone. Let's actually pay attention to the psychosis that are in a lot of these officers, and let's put them on desk duty and or early retirement. You know what I'm saying? And just not hire them at all. You know what I'm saying? Let's do an adequate, in-depth training before we even allow people in the police department. And once they get into police department, let people police their own people. It's like they always put black cops on the front line when it's a black issue. You know what I'm saying? They love to say, hey, we got y'all niggas on our side. You know what I'm saying? These y'all race traits. This is y'all need to worry about. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, instead of putting them on the front line at the Black Lives Matter rallies or when we decide to meet up, why don't you just put them in their own neighborhoods in the beginning? In the beginning. And then the black people who was raised in white society, or the mulattoes and the blue veins and the bourgeoisie, their offspring, they can all be policing the white communities. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, all skin folk ain't kinfolk. And all white folk not enemies. So we have to think strategic in our movements. We can't be saying defund the police, defund the police, defund the police without a plan. What are they defunding? What money are they taking away? Are they lowering their paychecks? They're barely making money as it is. You know what I'm saying? So what, especially the ones that don't have rank. So like, what defunding are we talking about? Are we going to defund the money that they get from these racist congressional laws that were passed, these racist acts that were put into movement? You know what I mean? What are we going to do? It's kind of like when Biden said, I'm sorry about the crime bill, and I'm going to fix that if I become president. Yet when he was working with the Obama administration, he didn't revisit that. He didn't bring that back up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we have to watch falling for the okie doke when it comes to these politicians. They have a game plan. They have a master plan for the shit. So understand that, okay? Okay, so this is Black Spin. I think I'm going to finish clean up and get dressed. I might come with a couple more videos. I know this one is really, really short, but I'm trying not to babble and ramble and stuff like that. I just want to let y'all know. Don't ask for things when you're not sure of the ramifications. Because all they do is they gaslight us and get us to moving and get us to, because we're the majority. And the majority is going to always rule. They gaslight us. They pander to us. They pat us on the head and say, hey, y'all should defund them goddamn police if they're not going to acquit motherfuckers for killing y'all unarmed in the streets. And then what? You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, what happened to negotiators and people that used to talk people down and stuff like that? They should all be negotiators in their mindset. They should always try to, you know what I'm saying? Diffuse a situation before even resorting to violence. You know what I'm saying? Like, their first resort is violence. Their first resort is to tase or to shoot. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't even be necessary. So you have people that are not good judge of characters with badges and guns. You know what I'm saying? Because the psyche valve was just brushed under the rug. Like, people have red flags of being crazy all the time. So we have to understand that. Okay, boos. So I'm going to go. And remember, don't ask for something from the government unless you have a plan for yourself. Don't let them gaslight you and trick you into asking for something that you really do not want. Okay? This is Black Span, and I'm out. Nikki loves you.